Hello, Internet! I'm Elliot the Purple-Haired Doofus, and welcome to my spoiler-free review of The Gunslinger by Stephen King. Now, The Gunslinger is the first book in Stephen King's Dark Tower series. It chronicles 5 different stories about the character, the Gunslinger, going after a man known only as the Dark Man. And the 5 different stories are all pretty well contained. There's just a small link that links them all until they get to the final story, which kind of wraps it all up. Now, the Gunslinger is after a man known as the Dark Man so that he can take the Dark Man to the Dark Tower, which is what this series is all about. And it kind of goes through the normal progression. The first story kind of introduces the Gunslinger. The second story kind of introduces another character. The third story kind of tells the Gunslinger what he's going to do. The fourth story kind of goes into the Gunslinger's backstory. And the fifth story does its best to try and wrap it up. The world that the Gunslinger is in is slowly explained to you throughout the book, so I don't really want to ruin it for you. Let's just say it's not modern Earth, and leave it at that. While there are some pros and there are some cons, really this book just kind of hit right down the middle for me. There's some to like, there's some to not like, but there's a lot to just kind of go, okay, that happened. And that's okay. What I did like is that Stephen King doesn't treat you like an idiot. There are a lot of points where he could have spoon-fed you something and he didn't. On the other hand, it did make things seem unnecessarily confusing, so it left you with a lot of questions. But since this is the first book in a series, maybe leaving you with questions isn't such a bad idea after all. On the con side, the only character that I really enjoyed and really wanted to see more of was the bad guy. The bad guy was awesome. The Dark Man that Gunslinger's going after is personable as hell, and so I wanted to see more of him. And this is mainly because the first story that Stephen King writes in this book, he completely alienates you by having his protagonist do an unspeakable act. I would speak it, but it's unspeakable. Seriously. So when it comes to generalized ratings, I started out giving this one a really low rating, like a 2. And then I got to the third story where it treated me like an intellectual, and I was like, okay, maybe this could be a 4. And then I got to the last story, and I was like, no, this is a 3. This is definitely a 3 out of 5, because that last story was just no. But like the other 2 and 4, they're just kind of okay. They weren't fantastic. They weren't horrible. They were just kind of eh. But the way that third story treats you is just so beautifully done. I would say just read it, but I already gotta read 1 and 2 beforehand. Well, at least 2 before you get there. You can almost skip the horrible first story entirely. But I'm kind of a completionist, and I like to, when I dive into something, I like to know everything there possibly can be about that thing. Not before, but like as it's supposed to be told to me. I guess a wonderful thing about this is I asked my mom if she was going to watch the series of videos that I made for this book, and she was like, so I can watch you tear it down? No, thank you. So now I can say whatever I want without the fear of my mom being embarrassed by me. Poop, fart, snot. So yeah, I'm gonna give this book 3 out of 5. You don't like that? I'm sorry. It just wasn't my favorite book of all time. I would probably recommend this, or who would I recommend this to? I mean, Stephen King is amazing. I'm not quite sure what kind of type of reader I would recommend this to. It's definitely not a kid's book. There are definitely some scenes in there that a kid should not have to endure. I'm not saying you need to be tough as nails. I'm just saying that first story, man. Ow. Do not forget that the next book that I will be reading is American Gods by Neil Gaiman. Go out and grab it by any legal means necessary. Borrow it from a friend, borrow it from the library, buy it on a Kindle, buy it from the bookstore. I don't care what you do as long as it's legal and you read it before I ruin it for you. I've been Elliot the Purple-Haired Doofus reminding you to watch the Pajama Radius, and I will see you all in the beginning of American Gods by Neil Gaiman. Toodles! There. Aren't you glad I ended this on a Friday? It's Thursday? Are you kidding me? What am I gonna do for Friday's video? What the...